Hello everyone and welcome back to Elegy's Oldschool Runescape history, and this is episode number 6. So it has been quite a while since I last posted one of these, and I've had a lot of people asking for me to bring it back, so I decided to finally do so. I guess the reason that I didn't is just because I sort of forgot about it, and also I just was making videos about other things and didn't find the time, but I figured, you know, it's a good time to do it. It's as good a time as any. So we are back to where we were before, and this is about July, towards the end of July of 2013, so this is in the summer of the year that Oldschool Runescape was first released. For anyone who's new to this, this is a series where I go through screenshots in my old RuneScape archive, just, you know, screenshots that I took along the way, because for anyone who doesn't know, I do run a blog with all sorts of screenshots on there, and so I have them all saved on my computer as well. So the first screenshot, as you can see right here, I'm actually chopping achy logs, and the reason for this is because I was making myself brutal arrows, because I was actually in the middle of working on chompy kills back then, because I really liked how the hats looked. I wasn't particularly high level or anything, but I just kind of wanted to have some cool looking hats, so started off with 766 kills, and I was at Bowmaster. I don't think I actually grabbed any of the hats until I got to the 5 feather ones. But right here, as you can see, I just passed 1,000 chompy kills and picked up my first 5 feather hat, which is the nice white one, and it matches pretty much perfectly with the quest cape, which also matched quite nicely with my fancy Ceradome and D-hide there. So I was rocking this outfit, feeling pretty badass in that outfit, and I managed to get myself up to 1,700 kills, and I was repping out the red chompy hat, which is when you get red at 1,700, and I was wearing kind of an odd looking outfit right here, but it matches anyways with the red, so that's kind of nice. And I was still keeping up with some skilling here and there, and I think I did take sort of a break from chompy kills for a while. I was doing farm runs consistently, and I was farming snapdragons, really just herb runs. I don't think I was doing too much in the way of tree runs, but I'm not exactly sure. But whenever I farmed the snapdragons, I would just quickly make them into potions, and I got myself well over 70 herblore just from doing this. So there's level 71. And I was also doing some fletching here and there too, just because it was a nice AFK skill to do while I was doing other things, watching shows and whatnot. So there's level 84 fletching, and I was wearing a pretty interesting looking outfit right there. Looks like I got a Robin on and then some Varrocs and Infinity boots. I like to try out different stuff back then, see what it looked like, but I was always repping the Infinity boots. Those things just look badass. And I put together some money and decided to get level 80 prayer, because I figured it would be a nice thing to have, you know, while I'm doing a lot of combat, because I was mostly just doing combat at the time, you know, PVM, barrows, etc., stuff like that. So I figured having level 80 prayer would come in handy, and also boost me a couple of combat levels. And as you can see, this is a very interesting screenshot of my high scores, but really what I was focusing on here is the fact that I'd done 72 to 80 prayer without logging out, and I was pretty happy with that. I guess it's not really anything that crazy, but at the time it felt pretty nice, and it was a few hours of just consistent praying. And at this time it was all manual. You couldn't, you know, auto use bones on the altar, so it was kind of a grind, and I wasn't really used to doing things that click intensive. But also you can see that I was ranked 272 overall, which is kind of interesting. I didn't really think that I had ever gotten that high in rankings, but this is kind of proof that I was doing a bit better than I really realized, or at least that I remember now. But I had 30 million total XP, and I was ranked 272, which is kind of funny, and with 1683 total. As you can see how much things have changed in the past couple of years with Oldschool Runescape. But I also decided to do some ranged. I wanted to get my range level up to 80, because it would have come in handy. I was thinking of actually trying out killing other DKs besides just the Rex, because I wanted to try, you know, Prime, Supreme, etc. And I really needed to have a higher range level if I was going to kill Prime. Even with some friends, I only had like 70 something range at the time, so I wanted to get to at least level 80 before I even tried it. But as you can see right here, I thought it was funny that a swarm spawned over the skeletons, and it was blocking them off, so it looked like I was just chinning on a swarm, and that was kind of odd. But as you can see, it hit off level 1,700 total, and I was in the top 300 at the time, which is pretty crazy with that total level. I think nowadays that's not even like top 5 or 10,000, I have no idea. But things have changed quite a bit since then. And there is finally level 80 range, and there's another snapshot of my stats at the time. Mostly 70s, but it's still a few skills under level 70, and a lot of skills reaching up to the 80 mark at this point, but 80 in all melees and 80 ranged. It's kind of interesting that my range was even with my melees at the time. Did a few clues, nothing amazing from these, but as you can see in my inventory right here, that number of money is a pretty nice amount. And what could it be from? I'm standing at the shanty pass, I'm wearing full Varrocs, and I've got 6.25 mil in my inventory. You guessed it, Dragon Chain Body Duo. Is with this guy Ep.6. It's actually a guy that I didn't really know much at all, but he was a very honest guy, and he decided to split it with me even though he got the drop. And this is me over in the corner here with my quest cape on. But yeah, we got a Dragon Chain, and it was worth 12.5 mil. So we sold it for that, and he split it even with me, which is really cool, and that was a nice addition to the bank at the time. I think I was just on the Slayer task or something like that and decided to do it, or actually maybe I wasn't because I was wearing Verax at the time, but I did have a Black Mass in my inventory in this screenshot, so I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, I decided to do KQ for whatever reason, just to try it out. I think I wanted to just try out all the PVM that was available in Oldschool, because this was before God Wars Dungeon was even released. So I figured I would just try out KQ just to have the experience, and a few more not so great clues. And I picked up a Carol's Coif from Barrows. I decided to do some Barrows, and I wasn't so happy with that loot. But afterwards, I actually got a double loot from one chest. Toring's helm not so exciting, but Derek's helm was quite nice, and getting a double loot is just something that doesn't happen too often, so that felt quite nice. And I just went back to the fletching, you know, AFK skills, and I was finally up to the point where I could do magic longbows with level 85 fletching, so I was quite happy about that. And I can move on to magic longbows, which are actually profitable at the time. I think they still are actually profitable, but they were actually a pretty nice moneymaker at the time, especially for being so AFK. And I decided to train on some Ankus just because I wanted to get my stats up, I think, and make some money while doing so. And I think I wanted to get my stats into, you know, like mid 85, maybe 90 in the combats. And this is completely unrelated to the actual game, but for some reason I was exploring the Jagex online store, seeing what you could put together in there, what you could buy. And at the time, you could basically take any article of clothing and put whatever you wanted related to RuneScape on it. So, you know, being however old I was, maybe like 16, I guess that wasn't too long ago, I decided to design this, which I thought was pretty nice. I think it would have cost like $60 or something to get this, because, you know, it costs more each time you add another customization to it, but I thought this would have made some pretty sweet underwear for a significant other, so I put this together and thought it was pretty entertaining.